The storm had been threatening all day, thick clouds rolling over the neighborhood like a lid pressing down. By nightfall, the rain came hard, slashing sideways across the porch, drumming against the tin roof. I stood just inside the living room doorway, clutching the straps of my worn backpack, my clothes already damp from the draft that seeped through the cracked frame. Dad's voice hit me like a whip. "You think you can talk back to me in this house? You think you deserve a place here after the way you leech off us?" His face was red, beer heavy in his grip. I tried to speak, but my voice shook. "I wasn't talking back. I just said I needed time to finish my shift." Before I could finish, Mom's sharp laugh sliced in. She leaned against the wall, arms crossed, eyes glinting. "Listen to her. Always excuses, always pretending she has worth. You should be grateful we've kept you this long. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video." My sister Brooke sprawled across the couch with her phone, raised her eyes just long enough to add her venom. "Dad, just throw her out already. She's dead weight. No one wants her here. She drags us down." The words stung, but what followed burned deeper. Dad lurched forward, grabbed my backpack strap, and yanked me off balance. My knees buckled as he shoved me toward the porch. The screen door rattled as he flung it open with his free hand. "Dad, please," I begged, stumbling. But his grip was iron. He dragged me across the porch boards, the rain blowing in sideways, soaking my hair, my shirt clinging to my skin. With one final heave, he shoved me down hard. My knees scraped against the wet wood before I tumbled into the downpour, the icy water splashing up around me. He loomed above me, silhouetted against the porch light, his voice booming over the storm. "Let the gutter sort you. That's where trash goes. That's where you belong." Behind him, I heard Brooke's cruel laugh echoing through the crack of thunder. "Oh my God, this is perfect. She looks like a stray cat." Mom leaned into the doorway, smirking. "Stay out there, Rachel. Maybe the rain will finally wash the filth off you." I scrambled onto my elbows, my palms scraping against the gravel at the edge of the steps. The cold rain hit my face in sheets, soaking me until I was shivering. My breath came ragged, but I didn't cry out. I didn't beg. Because their words, as cruel as they were, weren't new. They had called me trash before. They had called me useless, worthless, a burden. Tonight, they were just louder, bolder, drunker. Dad turned back inside, slamming the screen door so hard it rattled in its frame. Mom followed, her heels clicking across the wood. Brooke snapped one last picture with her phone, laughing as she disappeared into the warm glow of the living room. And then I was alone. The storm roared around me, rain soaking my hair, water pooling at my feet, the porch light flickering above. My body ached where he'd shoved me, but the ache inside burned sharper. I pulled my backpack close, shielding it under my chest. It was all I had, left a few changes of clothes, a notebook I kept hidden, and a small collection of pay stubs from the cafe, where I worked double shifts just to keep some money of my own. I pressed my forehead against the wet wood of the step, the water running down my cheeks. But these weren't tears, not anymore. Because as I lay there, the storm crashing down, their voices replaying in my head, something inside me hardened. "Let the gutter sort you." Fine, let the gutter sort me. Let the storm soak me. Let them laugh inside their warm house while I froze outside. But I wasn't going to stay down. Not forever. Because I was done being their gutter girl. I was going to make them feel what it meant to be discarded. I was going to make them choke on the words they loved so much. And when the time came, it wouldn't be me lying on the porch begging for a place. It would be them. The storm didn't stop until morning. By then, my hair was matted to my face, my clothes plastered to my skin, and my body shook so hard my teeth rattled. But I didn't knock. I didn't beg. I curled up against the porch post with my backpack as my only shield, and I let every hour carve their words deeper into me. When the sun rose, I could hear laughter from inside Brooke's high-pitched squeal, Dad's booming voice, Mom humming as she brewed coffee. They hadn't even looked for me. They hadn't opened the door once. Finally, when I dragged myself inside, dripping water across the wood floor, Dad glanced up from his plate. "Look who survived the gutter," he smirked. Guess it didn't want you either. Mom wrinkled her nose, waving a hand. You're dripping filth everywhere. Go change before you ruin the floor. Brooke leaned over her bowl of cereal, her phone in hand. I already posted last night. Everyone loved it. Want to see the comments? She shoved her phone in my face. The picture of me crumpled on the porch steps, rain pelting down, hair plastered to my face. Caption, Dad finally put the trash where it belongs. Dozens of laughing emojis filled the comments section. Savage. This is gold. She really does look like a stray. I felt my stomach twist, but I forced myself still. Leave me alone, I muttered. Dad slammed his hand against the table so hard the dishes rattled. What was that? Nothing, I whispered, slipping away before his fist could rise. In my room, I shut the door and pressed my back against it, my chest heaving. My corkboard of notes stared back at me, neon scraps filled with their insults. I added a new one in black ink. Let the gutter sort you. The words glared back at me, sharp and permanent. That day, I worked a double shift at the cafe. I poured coffee, wiped tables, listened to customers complain about the weather. But every time the bell above the door rang, I half expected to see someone pointing, whispering, There's the girl from the gutter picture. I needed proof. I needed more than just memories. So I started carrying my phone differently. I left the recorder running in my pocket when I came home. I propped it against the wall when Mom ranted in the kitchen. I pressed it under the table when Dad exploded at dinner. And I caught it all. Dad barking, Furniture belongs on the floor. Mom sneering, Be grateful it wasn't worse. Brooke giggling, Post that, they'll eat it up. Night after night, I saved the files. I renamed them carefully, labeling each with dates and times. My phone became heavier with every recording, but not from storage space, from power. The next Sunday, church was another performance. Dad strutted in, shaking hands like nothing was wrong. Mom smiled sweetly at the neighbors. Brooke whispered lies to her friends. And me? I sat quietly in the back, listening, memorizing every look, every whisper. That evening, I overheard Dad bragging on the phone. Kicked her right into the rain. Told her to let the gutter sort her. You should have seen it, priceless. His friends' laughter filled the line. Mom chimed in from the couch. People don't believe how lazy she is until they see it. Now everyone knows. Brooke shouted from upstairs. Dad, your video has over 200 likes already. My chest tightened, but my hands didn't shake. I walked into my room, shut the door, and pressed play on the recordings I'd collected. Their voices spilled into the quiet air, cruel and raw, like ghosts filling the walls. They thought the gutter had sorted me. But really, I was sorting them. Because if they loved an audience so much, if they loved the sound of their cruelty echoing back at them, then I was going to give them exactly that. Not in the way they expected. Not in the way they could control. But in a way that would leave them begging, not laughing. It happened faster than they ever expected. The following Friday night, our house was packed. Dad had invited his drinking buddies over, Mom had her church ladies in the kitchen gossiping, and Brooke's friends filled the couch, scrolling on their phones and laughing at memes. They all looked so proud, so comfortable, so untouchable. And that's exactly why I chose that night. I walked into the living room while Dad was in mid-story bragging. Told her to let the gutter sort her. She hit the steps so hard the rain nearly washed her away. His buddies roared with laughter. Brooke clapped her hands like it was comedy night. Show them the picture, Dad. It's still the funniest thing I've ever seen. Mom raised her wine glass, smirking. We should frame it. Laughter swelled around me like thunder. And then I pressed play. From the small speaker in my hand, their own voices exploded into the room. Furniture belongs on the floor. Be grateful it wasn't worse. Dad finally put the trash where it belongs. Let the gutter sort you. The laughter died instantly. The room froze. Their voices, recorded sharp and undeniable, echoed through the crowded living room. Dad's grin collapsed. His buddies shifted uncomfortably. Mom's face drained of color. Brooke clutched her phone like it might save her. I raised the phone higher, my voice steady, slicing through the silence. You wanted an audience? Here it is. Everyone can hear exactly who you are." Gasps, whispers, murmurs rippled through the room. Mom's church friends exchanged horrified looks. Dad's buddies frowned, muttering under their breath. Brooke's friends stared at her with wide, disgusted eyes. Mom lunged for me, hissing, "Turn it off!" But I stepped back, my hand tight around the phone. "No! You made me furniture! You dumped me into the rain! You told me to let the gutter sort me. Tonight, the gutter spits you back out." The audio kept rolling, more laughter, more cruelty, more of their true selves. Each word cut deeper into their reputation than I ever could with my own voice. Dad barked, "You little—" But he stopped when he saw the eyes on him. His buddies weren't laughing anymore. They were shaking their heads, backing away. One of them muttered, "You call your own kid trash? That's sick." Mom's friends clutched their purses, whispering, "Monsters! I can't believe it." Brooke's friends started recording on their own phones, capturing the scene she couldn't spin. "This is insane," one said, staring at her. "And you laughed?" Brooke's face crumpled. "No, it's not like—" But the proof screamed louder than she could. I turned off the recording, letting silence hang heavy. Every eye was on them now, not me. They were the joke. They were the trash. Dad's fists trembled. Mom's lips parted in a desperate smile that wouldn't hold. Brooke's phone slipped from her hand and hit the carpet. I stood taller than I ever had before. "You wanted me on the floor? You wanted me in the gutter? Fine, but now it's your turn. Crawl out of this." And I walked out. Behind me, the house erupted not in laughter, but in judgment. Voices rose in disgust, chairs scraped back, doors slammed as their guests left one by one. Their perfect little kingdom collapsed in a single night, destroyed not by my fists, not by my screams, but by their own words. They had thrown me into the rain, told me to let the gutter sort me. But in the end, it was them, drowning in the filth of their own cruelty. And this time, no storm would wash it away. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.